Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Ravi, and I'm currently hosting a free IAM session where we are trying to cover various tools around identity and access management. The overall problem that we are trying to solve here is to give proper guidance, proper knowledge transfer to everyone who is either new or who is working in IAM so that it helps individuals to work and add more value to their organization and grow in their current career. So, as a part of this, we have released three sessions: day one, two, three. Day one talks about the IAM fundamentals, topics like CIA. Then we have covered LDAP, Active Directory. We have also covered federation, authorization, authentication. And in today's session, I've tried to cover overall IAM by talking in like when an organization starts to think about IAM, what are the different components they should be thinking about? What are the different moving parts? How access management, how IGA, how privilege access management, directories, certifications, all are related to each other. So this is my attempt to give you an overview of the entire IAM landscape. I hope you enjoy and find this valuable. Please do make sure you make notes, take screenshots, and please share your comments and do like and subscribe to the channel. All of these are really valuable inputs which will help us, which will motivate us to do more. In the coming sessions, which will be released tomorrow, you will see we'll move towards the single sign-on world, the access management world. We'll start with SAML. You'll have videos on OAuth, OpenID Connect. Then we start on and drift our way towards Ping Identity. That is the first tool that we'll be showing you demo and on how to use, what use case you can solve in organizations, and so on and so forth. So enjoy the session and thank you very much for your support. Now, let's talk about the infrastructure today. Okay. So, first of all, whenever we talk about organizations, okay, what is the first thing that comes in your mind?
People.
Yes. So, user, right? Now, when we talk about users, what are the two different types of users? Let's start
End
with user,
users.
Dinesh. Okay. End users and,
Admin users.
okay, customers. Yes.
Contractors.
Okay. Now, can we divide this into two segments? You have internal,
Yes.
right? And external,
So,
right? So, what are these? These are internal, externals, are what? No, no, no. Internal users, external users. But what is helping me to classify them as internal or external? What is that thing through which I can say this is internal and this is external? Why I am
attribute.
saying no? Why I am saying them external?
Identity.
Mhm. For
Because they are
example,
contractors.
sorry, Rishabh, please come again.
They are contractors. They are on the contract basis.
No, that's what I'm saying. Why are you telling them what are
Okay.
they doing or where they are, where you are saying them as external?
Depends on their organization. They're
Okay,
accessing
one
the
is
resources
organized.
from outside.
Yes, one is organization. That is why they are different organization. But still, when you say when they are different organization, what is making you say that they are in different organization?
Domains.
Yes,
Roles or
domain,
functions.
domains. Yes. Okay. And can we say this network?
Yeah, right.
Can you
Yeah.
link everything back to network now? Internal, external domain. They are
Yeah.
outside because in a different network, right? Customer, different network, right? Contractors, different network. And everyone who are in internal will be in one network, right?
Yes.
Now, let's think. These are internal and external. So, definitely when you talk about internal, external, there will be a particular. So let's talk about this. Now, this is an internal user. Okay. What are the different ways this person can access any resource? If this is a resource, application one, stop following. Where is it gone? One second, guys. Something went wrong. Okay. So I'm back. So what is making? So there are two pages. I don't know. Something is going wrong. So there are two pages now. You can go to the zoom option, mini map, and then there are page 1 and 2. Just click on page 2 and then follow there. Okay. Huh. So now when you talk about users, what are the different ways a user can access that resource? This is application 1. No, different ways. For example, if I tell you to log into an app, what are the different types? Or fine, what are the different devices that you can use to log into an application?
Mobile, computer,
Okay,
tab,
laptop, computer, mobile, mobile, and tab.
tablet, iPads,
Okay, next. What else?
laptop, desktop.
Yeah, desktop, servers, right? Workstations. All these are the different devices. Okay, now now if this is one user, these are the different ways in which that person can access if they are in internal. External, if the same user is external, what are the different ways to access the application?
Through the MFA, VPN,
VPN,
No, no, no. Device. Let's talk about device.
same laptop, computer,
Same, right? Okay, good. Same type of devices. Now, let's categorize, let's further break this user population. Okay. Now, you know what devices are used, right? We got a general idea. Now, let's categorize internal user. Can you tell me the type of internal users?
stakeholders, employee, contractors,
Employees, contractors, sorry, not contractor, internal.
stakeholders,
Stake,
permanent employee,
employees. Next, what else?
mm,
privileged user,
privileged users fall under the employee, I guess.
Yeah, PC. I mean, sorry, what is your name? With SAS, the network segregation doesn't stand true. They can access applications, but here again, we are not saying external app or internal app. We are seeing a resource which is hosted internally, and we are talking about the different user personas. Okay, but what you said is absolutely right. Admins, yes.
vendors, sorry. Do vendors classify into internal?
How can vendor classify as internal?
I mean, like if you have any vendors working inside the organization for a longer time, and if they want to use, like applications, like a transport
But they are
application,
vendors, right?
yeah,
Eventually, they'll be categorized as external only. I mean, you can bring a contractor inside and give them a company username and password and ask them to log in. Now that
mm,
account becomes an internal account.
yeah,
Okay. So they what account they are using, that is more important here. Okay.
mm,
So employees, stakeholders, admins. Now these are users. Okay. Now let me broadly categorize this more. Let's go deep down. What are the different accounts that you can use internally? What accounts are categorized as internal accounts? Employee account, executive accounts or stakeholders account, admin accounts, what more? Service accounts, yes.
AD accounts,
Can you explain that, Susan? AD accounts
uh,
me.
uh, some users or some employee, they need, to get downloaded the application, they need AD accounts, admins, right? So I believe I can see like A dash the employee ID number to get the
Admin.
application.
That is also admin accounts. A
Okay, got it.
hyphen Susan is admin account. Okay.
Okay,
So
okay.
admin accounts, service accounts, what else?
Orphan,
Regular
Server
root
accounts, yes.
accounts, super user
root class
accounts,
account.
Root
Orphan
accounts.
account,
Orphan, what is an orphan account?
like not accounts to orphan users. I think.
Yeah, I mean, orphan account is an account that is left unadministrated by,
Yes.
right? So it could be any account, any service account, any admin account, any server account can be an orphan if it does not have an owner. Okay, fine.
It's
Root
RPA
account,
account.
sorry,
RPA,
Abhijit.
robotics, RPA
RPA,
account.
yes, yes. Okay. So these are some of the internal accounts that eventually will be accessing a resource. Okay. Now let's go about talking about external account. What are the external accounts? Someone said contractor, yes, and
Vendors,
vendors and
guest
supplier,
account,
guest, yes, suppliers, partners. I mean, these are the naming conventions. Okay. Next. Anything else? Contractor, vendor, guest, supplier, partner. What else?
I mean, will this classify as for external accounts, like test temporary accounts, which they create for 15 days or like a week,
But
for
again,
some to test our environments?
the question here, guys, is not about the purpose. Okay. The question here is where they are getting created. A contractor account getting created on the contractor domain will be considered as a external account because that are being created on a different domain outside of your network's zone, right? Or your organization's domain, it is getting created outside. That is why it is called an external account. And if they are using that account to access a resource that is hosted inside, this is called external account accessing your resource which is internal. Okay. But Bhushan, if you are creating even an account which
Yes.
is for 15 days, 20 days inside your domain
Mhm.
temporarily, that becomes an internal account.
Okay.
So remember, the classification is based on network. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fine. Next. Any other accounts? Fine. This is good enough. Okay. Now let's talk about, is this clear to everyone? I'm actually building up a story which you'll all understand later. But this is clear, right? Have resources and there is a network. You have internal network, external network. We spoke about the devices. We spoke about the different type of users, personas. This is called user persona. Okay. Now I'm going.
One quick question actually. As you said, internal and external, and the user from external, they have all the access to the internal, right? So what is the difference on like employee and the contractor if they have same access level then?
No, I never said they have same access. I'm saying if they try to access a
Oh,
resource, which is app one, right? So what I showed, showed a user trying to access an application. Okay. A user trying to access the same application. So
okay.
now we are talking again. This is a build up. So this is trailer of the movie. Okay,
Oh,
Susan. So we
okay.
still haven't talked about the movie. I wanted to give you. So we all talk about scenarios, right? Like why use IAM? This company uses, that company uses. That is fine.
Yeah.
Every organization uses. But I'm trying to give you the depth at which IAM is used and the reason
Okay.
behind it. Okay, and I'll
Okay.
cover every tool here. I'll give you an overview, which then you'll realize. Now, this will give you a starting point to go to your organization and think if all of these needs to be protected, what is your organization doing? What are they protecting? That is what you'll have to start thinking from here. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's talk about, okay. So we know about internal network, external network, different devices. Okay. Now let's talk about network. When we talk about internal network and external network, what are some of the internal networks? Can you tell me? What is classified as an internal network?
Intranet.
Intranet is fine, but when can you say that you are connected to intranet?
When we are connected to the premises network through VPN,
VPN, yes.
You are a domain user.
same domain.
No, same domain is the domain user. Now again, guys, we are not talking about user. User is clear. Device is clear. Now let's talk about network. Okay, because
Subnetworks.
yes, hub, internal VPN, then
Switches.
eventually
Routers.
switch will connect you to where router will connect you to what? See, router are access points, right? This is where you go and connect. But where are you getting connected? Your LAN. You go to office, plug in your LAN, right? All of that. So these are internal. What is classified as external network?
It is
Internet.
internet, I believe.
Internet.
No,
Public,
internet is,
public
but
domains.
how do you connect? What is that? Through how you connect to internet?
Firewall. WAN.
WAN is there, but do you know? Can you tell me one way you can connect to the internet that you connect
Wi-Fi.
daily? Wi-Fi, yes. External Wi-Fi's, right? Fine. So let's categorize external network as Wi-Fi. Anything that is publicly available. It could be anything, but internal it is VPN, hub, LAN. These are the different ways. Okay. Clear? Now let's talk about a journey. Okay. For example, if I tell you that I have a use case where I have to onboard a user. Okay. This is a user. I want that person to allow this user in my organization. Okay. This is just the use case. I'm not going to tell anything after this. Let's start by discussion. Tell me one by one, what is the user journey? Now that you know about networks, devices, and if you're building something like this, first let's talk about let's not talk about the build part, but what are the different steps this user has to go through in order for this person to be completely onboarded in an organization? So yeah,
Validation. User would, log in into his VPN and then connect to the organization's network through a network.
this is again, this is the outcome.
Yeah,
Okay,
So
right?
an AD account should be created per user in the first.
Account created.
Yeah.
Yeah, account created.
And which department?
Mailbox, yes. Then
Adding roles,
roles. Then
permission,
okay.
get
Then
application as apps access as per RBAC.
app access. Okay. Then
Policies.
sorry, Hitesh.
Policy. Provisional policy.
Policies for what?
Different kind of policy, like provisional policy.
Permissions, right? I mean, basically, permissions might be covered there. Okay. App access. Then
Process.
sorry, Sai, can you repeat that?
Authentication process.
Authentication process. Yes. Then
First, it should be authorized with the organization. After that, account will create.
Authorization. Okay. Next. This is one simple use case. You have been given a task to onboard a user. What are the different things that you are going to do? This is the question. User account for application access and entitlements. Yeah, that is covered, Riddhish, in account creation, roles permission. What else?
A new hire request would be, generated through HR system.
Yes, but that is a process, right? So that is, and what would that result to? Account creation only, right, Yash? What you said is right. That there is a new hire process that should start from a system, HRMS system. But eventually, what they'll do? Account, create an account. Mhm. Okay, now if I tell you, if I ask you a question, okay, that you want to join an organization, and what I did, I created an account, I created a mailbox, I assigned you basic roles, okay, gave you 5 6 app access, okay, where you can authorize and authenticate. Will you be able to do all that you have been assigned to do? Yes or no?
Based on scopes. Well,
Fair enough.
Sorry, can you repeat that, Sai, again?
no, based on scopes and scope, claims and
Okay,
scopes.
scopes of what?
What type of read or write access will for an
That is access is also granted. But imagine if these things were done for you. You join, you have been given an account mailbox. They said, okay, you can access one or two of the application. Application access is given. You can authenticate, authorize. I mean, will you be able to do everything that is required for you to do the job? Yes,
So,
no, yes.
I can raise request for
Yes.
some of it.
Sorry. Good,
But
good.
a user can raise the different other request for different applications which is required for his daily.
That comes under application access. But now some of the questions that I want to ask, right? How will this user get access outside of the network? Okay, that is one question. Second, did you allow this user to access from any devices? Okay, if you have not allowed access from any devices, how do you monitor the devices? Okay, monitoring of devices. The fourth question is, if he has to do his admin task, how do he make sure that he has all the admin privileges? Okay, then how do you safeguard his admin credentials? Okay, now if he wants to change his permission, revoke his permission, or elevate his permission, what is the process over there? Okay, then if he forgets his device, if he lost his device, if he forgets his password, what is the process there? Okay, now then did we ensure that the user just does not have an account and the person has also registered for multi-factor authentication and has two-factor setup? Okay, so MFA. And now if that person again is a manager, okay, does he have all the privileges to do uh, to check access of his direct reportees? Okay, so access reviews. Then does he have access to all the servers? If not, how can he request access? Okay, so is that making sense, guys? Whatever questions I'm
Yes.
asking.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So see, it's again what you all said is absolutely true, but that is very basic level of access. When you think about an organization level, okay, I'll just erase and I'll draw a journey. Okay, this is where if I told you earlier, you recall the diagram, right? The different segments that I made. We started with network, we started with devices, Because this is, you cannot say that suddenly this user will come, right? And says, hey, I want to work from home. You cannot say, oh, sorry, you cannot have access because we never built something for you. You cannot say that, right? If the person says, I don't want to use my phone, I mean, again, I don't want to use or install any app, give me a company phone. You cannot say, sorry, we don't have a company phone. You guys all get a company phone, right? And a company laptop. Do you guys get or you don't get? Yes, no,
Laptop.
Yes,
The phone.
yeah,
Yeah.
right? You are getting it. And you can work from home also, right?
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
request for a server access on your own? Can you request for admin credentials?
No. Through manager, we can request it.
No, no. I mean, you can
Yes, we
request it,
can.
right?
Yeah. We can.
You can request, yeah. So, and then tomorrow, if you get promoted, okay, will you have the same level of access what you had on your day one joining day?
No.
No. No, it will be modified as per the role.
How? Like, who is thinking and sitting all of that and sitting and deciding all of that? So, if you, if I say, now let's divide this whole thing, okay? Imagine there is a big box here. Consider this as a directory, okay? Directory, and your directory can feed in from different sources, Workday, HRMS, whichever system, right? Database, wherever your user is getting created first, everything is coming and getting feeded on the directory, AD, virtual directory, LDAP, whatever you call them. Now, this is where your account is created. Everything is stored, okay? But this is on the storing part. Now, let's start a user journey. User will start, okay? A user will ID will be created. What you have to look forward for that user first, what is that user type? Contractor, supplier. So for every category you should be able to build a platform, okay? Because if you see, do you guys who all are working as internal, do you guys have access to the contractor portal?
No. No.
And the contractor, do they have access to your internal portal?
No.
So that's how the segregation is also done there, right? So you have to think from that perspective, because when you think yourself as a data, right? If you think yourself as an identity, your identity has to be identified and should flow across through different system. Your identity should be identified. Now, who's identifying their identity? For example, let's start with IGA tool. Okay, this is where Savient, SailPoint, Oracle Identity Manager, One Identity Manager plays a key role here. And this initial point is called the joiner, mover, lever process. How you join, where you move, what you live, everything sits inside the IGA platform. Okay, the first part is the directory. So directory decides what gets stored, how the sync, everything. Okay, not going into detail, but this is where your directory, and every organization will have a directory. Tell me an organization which does not have a directory means there is no organization. Simple, because users are stored. Now and here, classification, talk about virtual directory, cloud directory, everything comes here. Let's start with the user journey. A user should be defined. So you should have a classification or a functionality to facilitate every type of users. Once the user is created to the user till the time they leave, everything should be identified, tracked, modified, secured, blah 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 done. Okay. Then you are creating it, modifying it, moving forward. Then you have to make sure that the access, because someone will be logging into app 1, app 2, app 3. Who's keeping a track of it? What if someone is not logging in for a very long time? How do you know about it? Maybe that person never wanted access one time. They never used it after that. This is where you call as access review. Okay. Again, imagine a new application is coming in. For example, you have created an entitlement which is saying all product manager should have access to 5 application. A new app is onboarded, which becomes +1 6. How to make sure that this group of project managers should automatically have access to that application? Okay, so again a process. I'm not going deep, but I'm telling you where and why IAM is coming into picture, which section and what type of IAM. Okay, access review, entitlements. Again, Now, one more thing is important part is, for example, there are 3 people in the team, and there is a process where the process needs to be reviewed, approved, and someone is a user who will be using it. Okay. So making sure that 3 different person should be doing this activity. Someone who wants to use it should not be approving and reviewing it. This is called segregation of duties. Okay. So here also, again, deep down, drill more further. Who's the reviewer? Who's the access? Should the access be an internal? Imagine here also, the reviewer should be someone internal to organization. User can be contractor also, can be supplier also, can be internal also. But a reviewer for an internal user, right, can never be a supplier. Do you think a scenario where you are requesting an access and the reviewer is a supplier, some contractor? Is that possible? Right? So this also you have to think when you're building a system. After you struggle all of this management, then you come to access. Okay, where you are giving users right level of access. You have single sign-on. Who should access what? When you are configuring it also, what attribute? If this is the IDP, this is the SP service provider. We'll go in deep, guys. Okay, so don't worry if someone is not able to understand, but just understand this is how the different components work. If it is SP, you talk about different attributes here, scopes, groups, everything should be defined on that level. No one can have random access. How do you decide? That is where groups come into picture. And this group eventually will be feed in on the access review, access request process. If someone is requesting access through IGA, they should have access to the right group, which is defined here, so that they get the right level of access. That is how groups work in these two scenarios. And here comes tools like Ping, Okta, OneLogin, ForgeRock. Okay. And here you also do multi-factor. You also decide that if a user's identity is created, how will they register for MFA? How will they register to recover if they lost their one device? How do they register for another device? Account recovery is all key thing here. Okay. Where they call the help desk, whether they call the manager, whether they can do self-service, all that should be defined here in this particular system or on both the system. That depends here and there. Whichever way you want, you can use account recovery. Now, as in you go, and overall, whatever you're doing, right, as I've been telling it continuously, you're not, companies are not doing it simply for the sake of doing it. They're not doing access review, entitlements, SOD, IDP, SP, single sign on, just to, because they have money and they want to spend. Can someone tell me why? I mean, although we have discussed this, but what is the reason all of the organizations are so heavily going and investing behind doing all these functionalities? What are the two main reasons?
Security and compliance.
Yes, security and compliance. These are the only two reasons. Yes, there could be other. Primarily, talk to your stakeholders. Everyone will be busy behind SOX, GDPR, HIPAA. You guys must be wondering, like, what is SOX? Why is everyone behind this? These are compliance, and if you don't follow compliance, there'll be audit. You fail, you pay heavily. There could be a breach in your company's resource. Suddenly, everyone will start, okay, let's put MFA behind this, MFA behind that. Let's strengthen the password complexity. All of that is happening around. Let's protect this resource. AWS, no one should be able to log in. They will need MFA. Why are they doing? There is a security enhancement, but more than that, compliance. These are the two main reasons that an organization is doing all of this. Okay, and I'll tell you an interesting finding. Just remind me the next 15-20 minutes. What I just realized today after doing some research, I'll tell you. Now, coming here, so let's go more into accounts. Here, you are primarily dealing the first and second. You are primarily dealing with normal accounts, user accounts, standard accounts, contractor accounts, and all of this. Let's go to more around admin accounts, service account, server accounts. What are these accounts called collectively? Can anyone tell me?
Privileged accounts.
Yes, privilege account. Now, again, life cycle. How someone can request for a privilege account, where they can have access, where the password will be stored, what if someone forgets the password. All of this should be taken care, where it is stored, how it is rotated. This is where tools like CyberArk, Beyond Trust, they come into picture. Okay. Now, for everything to work here, okay, you'll need an app, you'll need a website. Over there, that comes a topic of PKI. What is PKI?
Private.
Public Public
Company
Key
infrastructure.
Company key
Infrastructure.
infrastructure.
Yes, thank you very much. So eventually, they are the one who issues certificates, public certificate, self sign certificate. Eventually, the same certificate, whether you configure SSO, you want to configure your own on-prem IGA, you want to log into any server, everywhere the certificate will have to be floated. Again, for security, HTTP, HTTPS, those things, right? Now, these are the main 5 components. Okay. And also, when I say um, the access part, okay, this is where one thing that you should be also taking care is governance. IGA is identity governance and administration. Although SailPoint and all, they can do the identity management part, but then they would also be doing the governance part. Can someone tell me how is that governance maintained? Through what? Hello, am I audible? How is that governance being maintained across all these systems? You should be creating something, right, to ensure like, okay, this is how it should go, that is how it should go. What is that called?
Access control.
Control, policies,
Access
workflows.
control. Risk.
Okay.
Risk.
So
Yes.
these are the ways in which you can define all of this. Because see, you can
Workflow.
say workflows, yes, Abhijit. You can say that, okay, this should happen, but how do you ensure it is happening continuously? Okay. Now, this is how the entire system would work. When you talk about the different parts, you have defined the network, how, where it should access, what devices, what should happen, what type of user personas. Again, and also different scenarios that you can use these particular tools for. For example, you can define an account recovery. In account recovery, also, you have different stages. You can define app integration. App integration also has different stages. Okay. So, is this clear? Can I rub this?
One more thing, like as you said, IGA access and privileged access management, right? So these are interconnected to each other, right? Once the employee is hired inside the organization, so they should have this kind of flow within themselves, right?
Yes, this is how a user should be managed in the best possible way if you want to achieve compliance as well as security in any organization. But most of the time, you'll find directories are legacy, IGA is legacy, access is legacy, PAM, they don't have a tool. Okay. They are either migrating because, again, audit failed, they are migrating to a new tool, or there is a like a acquisition that has happened. So another migration from one entity to another, they might have acquired something, they must have split it off. So these are the different scenarios you will see. Organizations are continuously doing something or the other. Either they are merging, hence migration of directories, or somehow they figured out that, okay, because of compliance and security, we are using a very old tool. And that is where you are all working in different organizations managing IAM in some way or the form, or they are maturing. So organization who have set up a basic level, they now want to embrace zero trust, least privilege, decentralized identity, advanced ways of doing account recovery, advanced ways of doing RBAC, ABAC. That is how an organization is growing in IAM. Okay, so does that answer your question, Sujan?
Yes, yes.
Right? So this diagram says that if a user starts his journey, how should an organization prepare to safeguard the user from compliance and security perspective? That is what it does. Plus ensuring what are the different tools that come in different phases For example, you're a user, your entire joiner mover lever is defined by SailPoint. Say example, okay, or Savient. You log into an application, you do single sign-on, say Okta. You want to access a server, you'll go to CyberArk, fetch the credentials from there. You're logging into any app, you have a certificate. Your entire your user identity is stored in some AD or virtual directory. Eventually, your interaction point will be all of these systems. Okay, and that is how now this should give you 2 3 questions to think. When you go back Monday to your organization, start thinking about what happens, which SSO system you are logging in, because you might be doing SSO. How are you doing requesting access? Which tool are you using? Which IDM tool you are using? IGA tool you are using? Where do you request for server access? If any of the question is missing, some way or the other, the organization has already planned to implement or they are in the phase of implementation. Okay.
So SailPoint, Okta, and CyberArk are different applications, but they are interconnected to each other for the employee, right? Then
From a user
uh,
journey perspective, but
yeah.
they perform separate things, and this whole constitutes IAM, identity and access management. IAM is not just SailPoint, not just Okta or not CyberArk. It is a combination of all of three. And when you join as an engineer or when you want to elevate your career, you can either choose one of the track. Eventually, at some point in time, after 6 7 8 10 years, you can learn different tools, but
Mm.
every organization will have a separate IG team, separate access team, and a separate PAM team, okay, privilege access, and a separate certification team, separate directory team, okay. Some of them may have one or two things in combination, like access and AD in combination, PAM and AD in combination, PAM certificate, but these skills are very difficult to find.
Okay. Got it.
Fine. So,
Yeah.
any questions from anyone else? You can put it on the chat also. Business. 1 minute. Customer, business, employees. Sorry, Nishala, please tell me again. I cannot hear you. You're saying something? Thank you, Ridish.
No. I don't.
Okay, clear. So now, next time, if you think about doing anything in a tool, right? Just think what problem you are trying to solve. Okay. S- Your problem statement 60% of the time will be around all of this only. Something or the other you will be doing. Just think, put it on the chat on Monday. Okay. So that every one of us should know. Again, you don't have to name the company, but just tell you're trying to solve, my company is trying to solve problem on access review, problem on single sign-on. We are migrating. We are protecting apps on CyberArk. Just I just want to see to that only, and eventually you realize. And again, see, this is the thing that will help freshers or individual who are new to IAM to know what is the depth of the problem that you're trying to solve. Eventually, you'll find out it'll be revolving around this. Unless you are a product company. Again, if you're a product company like SailPoint and you're working in there, they'll have a different set of problem because they will be solving customers' problem only. Okay, but from a product perspective, like they may be adding enhancements, features, new rollout, protecting them through putting some vulnerability patches, all of that. That is their separate set of problem. They don't have to solve business. Their tool is already solving business use case. It is how you use and solve your use case, your problems. But that the basic capability is already there. Okay. So fine, I'll pause here for 5 minutes for any question, any comments, suggestions, anything. How many of Okay, let me ask a question. How many of you found this information new? What we just learned today? You can just raise your hands on the chat. Just to understand how many of you already knew all this. Shiva, Bhushan, Rishabh. Rest all of you new? Yes.
Ravi, this is Siva. I am also new. Yes.
Okay. No, the question is how many of you felt all of this, what we discussed today was new?
Yes, this is new to me.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, put it on. Raise your hands on the chat so that I can know like for how many people this was. Or put it on the chat. Was this something new to me? New to you? Say yes or no. Okay, Shubham. Okay. Okay. Fine. Okay, I usually do this, but just to understand. Okay. Again, I'm not. I know about a lot of. Is there any training on IAM tools so that I am interested? So one sec. I saw. So AG, right? I don't know what your name. Sorry, but this is the training that we are conducting. So okay, to give you guys people who have joined in newly, this training started last week. We did 3 sessions. This week, this is the second. Tomorrow there will be one more. But every week there will be a 3 session, which will continue for another 3 6 months. And the tool that we are trying to learn is Ping Federate here. Okay, Ping Federate, Ping Identity set of tools. But before we move into those tools, I just want to ensure that we have the fundamentals right. Okay, so this is where we want to ensure that the tool that you guys are learning the fundamentals before we jump into the tool. And as I said, the purpose is stay with us, learn the tool one by one. Okay, we'll start with Ping. We'll go to Okta, various different tools wherever it's available. But we will ensure we'll teach you all the tools. Okay, so be with us throughout the journey, and you will recordings. Yes, I will share the recordings in couple of days. Anyways, I'll drop a message. Hope everyone has joined the WhatsApp group. Okay, if not, I'll just put it on the chat. Join that group. I'll be collecting the email ID in few days, weeks time, and eventually I'll share this across. Okay. So let me
This session will be on each weekend.
every the reason why I'm doing on weekend, okay, is especially for folks who are working and might not be able to make it, and people who are out of India. I know, right? Because we usually do session on weekdays around 4 p.m. IST, which is very early for people outside of India. So weekend 8 p.m. is affordable for most of the folks. Hence, but we'll try our best. I mean, if it is comfortable for everyone, again, I don't want to hijack your weekends. So maybe we'll do 1 or 2 sessions, one session, alternatively 2 sessions on a weekday. But gradually, as you guys grow and learn, right, you will have in few days, weeks time, you'll anyways have access to the recording. Okay, so you can just go view. You'll have view only access. You click, you listen. If you miss 1 or 2 classes, just be there. And the important thing that I would want to encourage is if you have doubt, question, queries, ask people who have joined the session. Don't ask it to me because that'll give chance for the other person to encourage you to learn, okay, and explain you. And eventually there'll be a mutual bond and you can help each other. Whether you are in any state, any country, just form a gang. Okay, that's why I call everyone as gang members. So have a gang, learn and grow. So I'll put up the chat, the group chat. So copy the link. Please join this group chat. Okay. Sorry. And make sure that everything will be updated here only in this group. Fine. So now moving on to little bit. I mean, I have 15 more minutes, but I'll give you a overall view. Okay. So as we spoke about directories and all, in the next session, Raghav, you are not able to join. What is the issue it is showing? Okay, I'll address this in the last 5 minutes. Okay. So the first thing we discuss about the fundamentals. Okay. And tomorrow again we'll talk about a little bit fundamentals. From next week onwards, we will now deep dive into access. So first it was IAM. I'll tell you the journey, okay? IAM. Then we'll move into access part. In access side also, we'll talk about for the deep dive how access is possible. It is possible through protocols. Okay. In protocols also, what are the different protocols? Then we'll deep dive into the various protocols, SAML, OAuth, OIDC, all these protocols, right? Then we'll again go back into usage of this protocol, how you integrate an app on these protocol like ping. Okay, then we'll talk about different features of ping. We'll then dissect them into federation, SSO, managing installation, configuration. So I think by after 2 3 class you might want to have a laptop to join in to these meetings, because I mean if you want to just listen, you can simply listen, but you're not going to gain anything. Better is to have a laptop, have a phone next to you where you look at the screen, and a laptop next to you where you're setting it up gradually. Okay. So so this is how the entire journey would be. Once this class gets over, where we talk about ping, fed, ping, uh, access, directory, okay, we'll have some session. Then we'll move on to a different tool. So I know Praveen. How many of you guys are working here in SailPoint? Can you please raise your hand? 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, any year of experience. Please raise your hand if you're working in SailPoint. Abhijit, Krishna, SailPoint guys, Venkatesh, Praveen, 4. Anyone? Only 3 of you work in SailPoint? Okay. So there are other folks. So Abhijit, Krishna, and Venkatesh. Praveen, please reach out to them. And because there is a course that we are planning on SailPoint again. Okay. So even that training will happen. We'll learn together. So yeah, don't worry. That'll be covered. Okta, and then CyberArk, we are planning something. Savient also will try. Okay. ForgeRock, OpenAM. Eventually, my goal is by end of the year, at least whoever 40 people are joining here, they should know each and every tool. There should not be any division between I know this, and put everything in the resume. Get selected for good roles. Plan to be an architect, plan to be a specialist. Okay, where you are actually thinking broadly. And then in some of the sessions, I'll also add some security principles. For example, does anyone know about MFA bombing? What is MFA bombing? Or how someone attackers can compromise your credential, how an attacker can get access to your application. So all of this is also identity. How other database got hacked, what happened after that, Okta, you see breaches happening, what is the reason behind it. Unless until you don't know all these security, also know about compliances, what is GDPR, SOX, plus you know the IAM fundamentals, you will never be able to grow further. You will still remain an engineer, and the whole purpose is to make sure that you guys become efficient IAM professionals. Think from every angle. Okay. And again, we have troubleshooting sessions and all. So maybe not everything may not be comfortable to everyone from a timing perspective, but attend as much sessions as possible. Okay. So ping identity merged together. Yes, Sri Santosh. ForgeRock and ping identity merged together probably a few months ago. And ping and ForgeRock are already acquired by Thoma Bravo. Thoma Bravo is a consulting firm. They have also acquired SailPoint a couple of years ago. So SailPoint, eventually you'll find out SailPoint, ForgeRock, ping are a part of the same big company. But SailPoint remains leader in IGA. Okta remains a leader in Access. CyberArk remains a leader in the PAM space. Okay. So let me stop presenting and go through all your questions one by one. Okay. There were some questions that you had shared. So first I've answered, okay, based on the access birthright, and service accounts, customer. Okay. Okay. These are the feedbacks. New. Any roadmap and plan Roadmap about what, Raghav? Hello, Raghav. Can you hear us? I don't know if he's left. He's there.
Yes,
Yeah,
tell me.
Raghav. Yeah, roadmap. Any roadmap and plan? What was the?
No,
Can
I'm
you
talking about the roadmap of IAM. Like maybe what is the plan and the approaches of this session?
So again, so first is, as I just explained you, right, what is going to happen overall. Okay, so you'll have access to the
Yep.
recording, and again, there are different set of roadmaps. If you are new, follow these
Yep.
videos. There are links and all of that we'll be providing you. Now, why 3 days? Because if I'm teaching you anything, make sure you are becoming an expert completely in the remaining 3 to 4 days, because you have a job, you have your other things also, right? So you'll have to go through
Yes.
that. Looking at that, spend 1 hour every day, so that gradually you learn, because you'll not learn everything today only and then apply for a job tomorrow or even in a month. So I want you this to be imbibed in you guys. So first, follow this session, read gradually. I mean, the more we move into tool specific, right? I'll share more article. AD I have already shared. If it is new, I can again forward it on the group. People learning AD. So that is the
Ye-
first
Yes, but
roadmap.
please can you
Okay,
follow the AD and
sure, sure. Again, it's a YouTube video that is
oh
to give you a complete knowledge of what AD is. So learn from there. Okay.
yes,
So
yeah.
a roadmap is this: you join the session. Uh, okay, fine. But anyways, you'll be planning in, right, Raghav, gradually. So you can learn and one second. So that is the roadmap. And plan is, first we start with ping, we move on to other tools. But again, if you really want a job, if you are really focused specifically, just ping me separately. I want to talk and see how we can do something else. Maybe I can give you some other links, some other videos, and understand. I mean, I really cannot be very generic. What is your requirement? But any question, queries, I'll put up a link immediately after this on the Calendly, Monday to Friday between 11 to 1 p.m. There are 4 slots available. Book your one-on-one session. Okay, that is one. So AG send recordings will not be sent now. It'll be applicable. It'll be sent immediately. Sorry, after a few days in a website form where you can just view only, and it'll be applicable to send to everyone. Okay, please share the WhatsApp group link. WhatsApp group link is sent here. So what do you get? Join chat. Use WhatsApp web. Let me know if you are not able to join. Not able to join the group. Okay, what to me check, guys? What is the problem? Okay, I mean, I am able to get in
Uh,
using the
is it
same link.
Okta ping access management, right? I can see 3 groups and then I just joined the Okta.
Yeah, I mean, so again, about the group, why not IAM community is the common group where
Oh,
I'll be sending in links about all the training and whatever sessions are happening. Then I have divided that into 3 different classification. If you're working in Okta, join the Okta group. If you're working in SailPoint, CyberArk, join 3 different groups based on your interest and the career. Because if I'm doing a session on Okta, I'll not be posting it on the common channel or SailPoint or CyberArk. Okay, or troubleshooting. If Praveen wants to do any collaboration or wants to discuss anything, he'll put it on the SailPoint group for SailPoint. He'll not put it on the other channels just to avoid spamming too much. Okay.
Yep.
So Raghav and Sushant, are you able to join now? Please confirm. Okay. Multi-facet authentication. Do we need to learn Java coding and Python? So again, there are 2, 3 different set. One is I think I should post the roadmap video immediately in the next few days, because this is a common question that what you should do. So if you are starting your journey as a IAM analyst or IAM operations engineer, that role, you really don't need to learn any coding. You just need to be very good with the tool, very good with security fundamentals, very good with IAM fundamentals. Okay. So that is where you don't need to learn coding. If you want to be a IAM developer, you should be starting your journey by learning coding. But in my journey, in many other of my friends' journey, 5, 6 years we never required to learn coding. until you become even a senior engineer. Okay. As we are in IAM, if after some time we want to change our cybersecurity stream, so is it possible? Yes, it is possible. But again, Shubham, that is a separate journey altogether. I cannot tell you that your IAM journey is linked to VAPT, as IAM is one part of cybersecurity. If you want to start SOC, VAPT, that will require separate set of certification, separate set of knowledge. But these knowledge will be very much add on to you if you are in IAM and then you want to move there. Okay, so fine. You are still not able to access, not yet. Let me check. Okay, because I see a lot of people were able to add. Can you post your numbers, please, Raghav and yeah, this is Sushant. Let me add Sushant's number. And Raghav, you can also send your number, please. Plus 91. Okay. But yeah, I mean, I still have few minutes. Does anyone has okay? What are the few best practices to be followed when you have IAM in place? In general, which organization should follow? Very good question. Okay. Before that, I'll answer how long this course duration training is. This course, if you talk about ping, maybe 2-3 months. Okay. And if you talk about Okta, another 1.5 month. That's how we'll be planning in. Okay. So I'll add you guys. Okay. I'll add you in few minutes. I'll just take a picture of their number and I'll add Raghav and Sushant and anyone else. Hafiz. Okay. I'll add Hafiz. Sorry. Hafiz. Yeah. I'll add Hafiz also. Naga. I'll add your number also. So you can start SailPoint in parallel, Shubham. No problem. I mean, if you have videos, or anyways, I'm going to share videos in a day. I'm actually uploading them in my drive within today, tomorrow mostly. You'll get all the SailPoint videos. It has all the question queries. Okay. And if anyone wants to reach out to me in case if I don't add them, this is my number, WhatsApp number. Please ping me. Okay. Let me put it on the chat. 9170. Okay, this is my number. Okay. Now going back to the question. Few best practices. Few best practices to be followed when you have IAM in place in general, which every organization should be following. So yes, connecting dots is there, Shiva. So yeah, you can learn from there. Krish, whom I interviewed, did the podcast. He is the one who's running that. But all of their trainings are paid. But also see whatever they have done is really good content there. And if you want a paid training, please go talk to them and their team should be able to help you. Okay. So a few best practices. One is when you talk about management of users, right? You should have again, I mean, I'll just holistically tell you, Riddhish, when you talk about few best practices, it should follow compliance. Password should be it should have strong password length. I mean, it should have all the access should be reviewed. All the and non-human accounts should have a user tagged. Every access should have an owner and a process. Every app should be behind single sign-on. Every user should have a MFA. Okay. Every process that you are trying to log in, every privilege applications, right? Your admin access should have MFA. That too, not even SMS, but a stronger factor there. Now, every privilege accounts should be moved behind a vault. So these are different, best practices that you should be following. It's basically whatever your tool is capable of. Ensure that you can just go ahead and I mean ensure that you follow what is there on the guide. Okay, that's what you can do. Now, sale point. Sorry.
This is because Ravi, some of the guys just ping me separately and just ask me to how to start it. So this is a particular link so that they can just start or
grab some ideas on administration
Okay.
part. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there is also a VM and exercise, and the answers all are there for the especially
Okay.
for the initial exam as an admin.
Okay. I'll just fine. Yes,
You
please.
asked us to, in the middle of the session, you asked us to remind you about something that you wanted to talk
Yes,
about.
yes, yes, yes. Thank you very much, Bhushan. So I just I just quickly share my screen. Okay. I just wanted to show you something. Now, the reason why I'm promoting IAM and all of that, right? I'll tell you. So, can anyone tell me like which companies require IAM?
Every company requires IAM.
Okay. Now, let's talk about this. Okay. So, I was just trying to search this overall. Okay. So, where is that? Okay. So, the data says, okay. Okay. So, I'll just quickly share my screen.
Mm,
And you guys can check the validity of the data also. Okay. Not only company, healthcare bank. I mean, Shubham, healthcare bank, these are also companies only, right? Fintech. Everything is a company only. So I'll quickly share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
So these are the number of companies are there in the world. Okay. Right? Simple. These are estimated 334 million companies are there, which is 334 lakh companies. Okay. And do you know how many companies are using IAM currently? Any guess? Tell me in percentage. 50%, 60%, 100%, 90%. What do you think? How many companies might be using IAM?
40 to 50%, I guess.
Okay, one guess. Yes, anyone?
12%.
12%. Okay. Anyone else? 70%. Okay.
65%.
Okay. Fine. Now, this is the data. These many companies are currently using IAM. So if you consider this with this is 3 lakh roughly. And this is 300, sorry, 3,340 lakh are the total company. So it's close to 10%, I guess. Just. So imagine, now the reason why I'm telling you this, right? It will never happen that these 334 companies will be not using IAM. So these are the data where they are using some of the best IAMs. Okay. So either the companies are using homegrown, legacy, untracked IAM tools, managing something they might have built in someday or the other, even if 30-40% company decides to grow or compliance would come into picture, they will have to use the IAM. So just think about the the number of employees or the number of resources that would be required. So either you learn it that way, where you know that everyone, it's basically like development. No one knew until Google, Facebook started hiring, and every company started using it, right? Then everyone started learning it. So by that time, you'll also be the same ship in the herd. But by now, if you start growing, imagine 3-4 years later when you'll have one of the niche skills, because everyone will be again learning behind just one or the other tool. By the time you'll already know 2 to 3 tools. I mean, eventually making you a lead specialist. So eventually letting you get very high paying jobs. Okay. So I mean, again, I just tried to Google this today. I was talking to one of my friend whom we were talking about IM, and that's when I realized that out of 334 million, which is 3,340 lakh companies, only 3 lakh companies are currently being tracked of using IM across the world. So, and hence, if you look at the IM industry in one of my video, the first video that I have said, it is close to around $3.7 billion market
in globally. What does that mean? That means companies are willing to pay that much amount to invest in IAM. And just because investing might not just help, if they are investing, that means they're investing on buying the tool, investing on having a resource, investing on having specialists, engineers, operations everywhere, right? This is where jobs are opening up. So, and this is where I'm trying to again ensure that people be at the right place at the right time. Okay, and then honestly, like the layoffs and all of that is happening, right? You will not find that currently, at least in the next 5 6 years in IAM. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye, everyone.